To better understand the historical books of the Bible, let's briefly look at the big picture. God reveals himself as both sovereign and powerful when he creates the universe and reigns over the world through mankind. Sadly, however, mankind rejects God's reign. Since then, God has been unfolding his plan to rescue humanity through Jesus Christ and bring them back to their original destiny, to implement God's reign on earth. In the Old Testament, this rescue plan focuses on the problem, sin and its consequences. And the historical books show how fatal these consequences are when someone distances himself from God. For example, as long as Israel remained loyal to God, they were successful. But when they broke his law and followed other gods, spiritual and political decline inevitably followed. In the beginning, Israel walked closely with God and was able to successfully conquer the land of Canaan. But over time, they forgot God and his law and made more and more compromises with their enemies. As a result, they were repeatedly defeated by those same enemies. But God is merciful. When Israel cried out to him, he saved them again and again. To do this, he appointed judges to carry out his rescue plan, but they also failed. Sadly, the people no longer cried out to God. They rejected his reign and demanded their own king, so God granted their demand. But the popular King Saul also failed. Next, God chose a king who feared him, David, and under David's son Solomon, Israel achieved its greatest expansion. However, sin and renewed idolatry led to the beginning of the decline and the division of the country into the northern kingdom, Israel, and the southern kingdom, Judah. Finally, God's judgment came. Both kingdoms were conquered and taken into captivity. While the Jews were under the rule of foreign nations, they hoped for salvation. After a long captivity, a few Israelites returned and saw the fatal consequences of all their sin, misery, and destruction. They rebuilt the temple and the wall of Jerusalem, but never returned to their former strength. All that remained for the Israelites was the hope of the promised king and savior. The historical books show us through the story of Israel that separation from God leads to destruction. Do you recognize consequences in your life when you distance yourself from God?